Wally the Wizard appeared to be in a trance, while Connie the Cleric was talking to the people from the village. As far as anybody could tell, he wasn't doing anything. Connie the Cleric was trying to impress upon the villagers the importance of the information they needed and how they were on a divine mission. And as Connie spoke, the villagers began to notice that the clouds started to build in the distance, and they could tell that there was an approaching storm. And this was unusual because the portents for that the wise people read in the sky earlier in the day had indicated there was not going to be any severe weather. What was going on? The more Connie the Cleric talked, and the more she tied their mission to the will of the gods, the more obvious it became to the people of the village that indeed this did have to be some sort of divine intervention. And so they, despite their fears about what they had been told by the evil people who came through the day before and the threats that had been made against them, they told Connie the Cleric and her companions where those evil people went. And the clouds then began to dissipate. And the people realized, oh, we did the will of the gods after all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what this is, welcome everybody. This is Arcane Wednesday. I'm your host, DM Gallibond, and today we are talking about control weather. And what we discussed here is a potential scenario that your high-level party may come into. If they're looking for some information, this is a way that you can kind of tag team with two casters in the party of doing ritual-like spells that require a lot of concentration and a long build-up, and then leave the caster kind of tired after the build-up to it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what control weather is all about and how it has evolved over the years, because this one has been around a long time. A long time indeed. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to look at the... we're going to look at this page here, and yes, well, this is the page we're going to look at. Yes, indeedly doodly. All right, let us take a look at the rules cyclopedia. This is from original D&D, and the first time we see control weather, although back in those days it was called weather control, is in druid spells. And this is just because of the way that the book was laid out. Druid spells came before magic user spells. So, control weather was a 7th level druid spells, and in those days, druids didn't have an 8th or 9th level of spells. So the range is 0, duration is concentration, and the effect is all weather within 240 yards. Kind of a small area comparatively. So the spell allows Druid to create one special weather condition in a surrounding area. Caster may select the weather condition. Spell only works outdoors. Weather will affect all creatures in the area, including the caster. So it can create rain, snow, fog, clear area, high winds, or a tornado. And or intense heat. I'm sorry, or a tornado. And the these all have mechanical effects. The rain is a -2 penalty. Snow visibility is reduced to 20 feet. Fog is also 20-foot visibility, half normal movement. For those within the fog might become lost, moving in the wrong direction. Clear cancels any bad weather. Intense heat, movement reduced to half normal. And excess water dries up high winds. No missile firing or flying is possible. So, if you're being attacked by an avian creature, that would be a thing to do. And then a tornado creates a whirlwind under the druid control, attacking and moving like a 12 hit dice air elemental. So it gives you some idea of the power there. Now, also in the same resource, the magic users uh, got access to weather control as a 6th level magic user spell. And mechanically, everything is just about exactly the same. There's no difference except that that it would be the magic user as opposed to the druid casting it. So then we go to AD&D or first edition, and in the player's handbook for that edition, we now see the spell in its familiar guise as control weather. And this is a 7th level spell for clerics. Clerics did not have access to this in original D&D. They only got access to it in AD&D. Now, if you remember back in original edition, we didn't have any casting time. We also didn't have any clue as to what the components are. Those were all invented in AD&D, or in the rules for AD&D. So now also the duration is 4 to 48 hours, so it's no longer as long as you can concentrate. The area of effect is 4 to 16 square miles, so a lot larger area of effect. And the casting time is 1 turn. 1 turn is a unit of time in AD&D equal to 10 minutes. So it takes 10 minutes to cast this spell. There was no clue how long the weather control took to cast. You could just maybe do it on your turn in an action anytime you could cast a spell in original D&D, perhaps. Okay. Allows cleric to change the weather in the area he or she is in at a time. Will affect the weather for 12 hours in an area from 44 square miles. Requires 1 turn, an additional 1 to 4 turns for the effect to be felt. So this is a gradual onset. So 10 minutes to cast a spell, and then another 10 to 40 minutes before the effects are fully felt. So it's not something that just bam, you snap your fingers and the skies immediately erupt with whatever. Control weather will not radically change the temperature. The control possible depends on the prevailing conditions. Now, here's the conditions, and here's what you can do with them. So all 3 aspects of the weather, clouds, precipitation, temperature, and wind, can be controlled, but only as shown. For example, a day which is clear, warm, and with light wind can be controlled to become hazy, hot, and calm. Contradictions are not possible, so you can't have both fog and strong wind. So this is, so you look at, is the weather generally clear, moderately cloudy, or overcast? Is it a hot weather, warm weather, cool weather, or cold weather? Are the winds calm, light, strong, a gale, or a storm? And then depending on what you have, these are the sub-conditions that you can create with this spell. So it seems like you affect a larger area, but you have a little bit more limited effect than in original D&D. Now we stick with the exact same resource, and now we go to 7th level druid spells. And druid spells get control weather. Level 7. Whoa ho 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 ho. Duration 8 to 96 hours. So 8d12 hours instead of 4d12 hours. And 4 to 32 square miles. 4d8 square miles instead of 4d4 square miles. So druids have more power when it comes to this than clerics do. Thus, it's a higher spell slot than for clerics. And last but not least in this area, control weather for magic users. And this is exactly the same as the clerical version. So you get all the same limitations and the same duration and area of effect. All right, now we go to second edition. And second edition, we are looking at um, the wizard spells for these are what 6th level wizard spells. All right, so 6th level wizard spells, 46 hours, 44 square miles. So duration is a little bit different. Casting time is still that 10 minutes. And hey, here's all of our conditions once again. Very, very, very much the same as to what you could do in first edition. And then, they explain, and then you know it's kind of the same explanation as we had in AD&D in first edition. Okay, now continuing with the same resource, we now go and we see this is priest spells, and these are 7th level priest spells or cleric spells. And so control weather was a 7th level uh, clerical spell, and duration 4d12 hours, 44 square miles. Change the weather in a local area, 4d12 hours, and requires a turn to cast a spell, additional 1 to 4 turns. And pretty much, instead of just saying it's like the uh, wizard spell, they spell out everything all over again. But very, 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 very close. All right. And then D&D finally grew up, and they finally got to the point where they said, "Oh, hey, wait! If we have the same spell for multiple classes, we shouldn't repeat it every time and pad the size of the book. We should just list every spell once and then tell you who can cast it and what level." So control level in third edition um, is for clerics, for druids, for sorcerers and wizards, and for those of the air domain. Um, no more material components, it's only verbal and somatic. Casting time is 10 minutes. Range is 2 miles. Area 2-mile radius circle centered on you. Duration is 4d12 hours. And then this is based on what season of the year it is, the possible weather that you can create with it. So you can control the general tendencies, such as direction and intensity of the wind. You cannot control specific applications of weather, where lightning strikes, for example, or the exact path of a tornado. Control away with weather can do away with atmospheric phenomena, naturally occurring otherwise, as well as create them. A druid doubles the duration and affects a circle with a 3-mile radius. So, they say, here's the general things. Oh, but there's this exception for druids who get a little bit greater control, and that makes sense. Druids are they're all about nature magic. So, stuff with weather makes sense uh, that they would have some influence over that. All right, and fourth edition. Okay, fourth edition is a ritual. It's a 14th level ritual. So you have to have the ritual caster tag on your on your class, but it doesn't matter what class you are. As long as you're a ritual caster, you can um, cast control weather. And level 14, exploration, time 1 hour, duration special, and then it gives you your cost. So you change weather outside in a 2 mile radius centered on you. Change limited to current season. Um, and then you control the weather's general tendencies, such as direction. And you do a nature check, and the duration is based on your nature check. Each time you choose change the weather result, a new weather condition needs 10 minutes to manifest. So 19 or lower takes 2 hours, 20, 29, 4 hours, or I'm sorry, the duration. 19 or lower, 2 hours, 20 to 29, 4 hours, 30 to 39, 16 hours, and 40 or above is 24 hours. All right. And last but not least, we get to 5th edition, where Control Weather is an 8th level spell. Takes 10 minutes to cast. The range is a 5 mile radius from you. Duration is a flat 8 hours. School is transmutation. And you must be outdoors. Moving to a place you don't have a clear path to the sky ends the spell early. So if you walk into a cave, whoop, it's ended. You cast a spell, you change the current weather conditions, which are determined by the DM based on the climate and season. And oh my god, look at this. We have all of these things here. You change precipitation, temperature, and wind. Takes 1d4 times 10 minutes for the new conditions to take place. Hey, 4 to 40 minutes from all the way back in 1st edition. It's still here. Once you do, you can change the conditions again. Spell ends, the weather gradually returns to normal. And you change weather conditions, a current condition on the following tables, and change its stage by 1 up or down. When changes the wind, you can change its direction. So, you can change it all the way from unbearable heat to arctic cold, the wind from calm to storm force, and precipitation from clear to torrential rain, driving hail, or a blizzard, obviously depending on the season of the year. All right, that's control weather. And this has been Arcane Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're starting to grow our little community over on our Twitch channel, getting more people logging in to watch our actual play games. And I'm seeing some gradual uptick in the subscriber numbers over here on YouTube. I really appreciate that as well. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos, click the post notification bell so that you can get notified anytime new content drops, and also check in the description below. You'll find out how to follow me on all the social media platforms and all of the other things. Love to hear any feedback, comments on times that you have seen control weather used effectively in a campaign where you were playing or where you were the DM. What happened and how did it work out? Or obviously, if there was some time when somebody tried it and it's failed spectacularly, those stories are always fun too. All right, everyone, take care. We will talk to you later. Good night, everybody.